7:23. Welcome back to Great Day for this Monday. It's the 13th of July, and we love it when Rebecca Herold stops by because we feel that you'll end up being a little safer when she's done visiting with us, because we're talking about security, because that is your specialty.
That is.
How long have you been doing that, just so people know?
Well, over 26 years now. So I basically got in on it right at the very beginning when we started getting into more sharing of networks and so on. So
you're 36.
I started when I was in grade school.
Yeah.
So.
And you're doing very well, too. But always something happening, always some kind of security type breach, it seems, is being revealed every day.
Well, a lot of people were scared when airplanes were landed because there was a computer issue. Then all of a sudden our stock market stopped because there was a computer issue. So
Wall Street Journal.
We're like, okay, is this related? Are these being hacked? What's going on now that our computers are controlling so much of our lives?
And you know, that's the first thing probably people think. But I do believe that it was just bad problems within the network. For
software problems?
Software problems.
Because they announced that right away. We were talking about that here on the program. I mean, initially, right off the bat, they go, "This is not a hack job. We were not hacked." And like, how do you know that you guys weren't, messed with?
Right. Well, usually you can tell pretty quickly if, like, you did an upgrade and oops, we didn't test good enough before we put it into production, and now it's causing a problem.
Hopefully, they backed up before they upgraded.
Yes, hopefully they have a backup. And actually, they should have had a backup system that would kick into place as soon as one system goes down. So basically, that means if you have one part of the network go down, another one comes up to take over right away to make sure that things can go on. So it sounded like they just had some network and programming issues, and we're getting more and more complex systems, so it requires much more testing before you actually put it into wide use.
So that was just a really random coincidence that there were planes landed and the stock market went down and the Wall Street Journal went down all within hours of each other?
Well, I think it might have been. There might have been some hacks in there, and from what people could tell right now, it doesn't look like there is. But, I work with a lot of clients who are technology companies, and a lot of them are startups. And something I'm finding with most of them is that they don't do sufficient planning or testing before they put things into production, or they'll test good before they put it into initial use, but then they start making changes on the fly. And when you start making changes on the fly in production, that can cause some really bad side effects that you hadn't foreseen.
Which scares me a little bit when you're dealing with airplanes and people's money with the stock market and things like that. It's like, ooh, you don't want to be messing with that.
Speaking of the airplanes too, how you can get onto the internet now while you're in the plane. And there was a, recently, earlier this year, researchers said, oh, well, I got into the plane controls through the internet.
The cockpit,
And you would think there'd be a very good firewall built between that system and the other system. And so, I think he was a very smart guy with a lot of experience, and he had the tools to be able to do that. So hopefully they're learning. It's better to learn from the researchers who are trying to do this than find out after somebody malicious has actually done something.
What are we going to touch on here real quick?
Well, the OPM, the Office of Personnel Management, that's with the government hack, so you've heard a lot about it. And actually, they had problems starting back in 2013. And in 2013, they had a couple of their contractors who had access into their system. A couple of their contractors had their systems breached. So right there, is a problem when your third parties you use to get into your system and support it are breached. That means that they could allow a pathway into your network. But then also, OPM itself was breached in 2013. Now, during that time, they downplayed it and they said, well, we didn't have any personal information breached. But what they did access, come to find out, was such things such as the network information and systems information. And if you want to break into a system, what do you want to get? The information about all of the networks and how they run and so on. So go forward to 2014, that's when they started having their breach of actual personal information. So we first found out about 4.1 million personal information records that were breached, and a lot of that had to do with IDs and passwords and other types of information. But then the second breach we found out about, and this had been going on for a very long time with the hackers being in the system. The next one had to do with what's estimated now to be 22 million people, and it's really sensitive information because when you apply for a job with the government, you have to go through a lot of background checks. So you have to fill out a form that's literally 120 to 130 pages long. Jeez. And in that form, you provide information about your health, about your family members, about where you live, about foreign contacts that you might have. So it's got a lot of information not only about the applicant, but it's got a lot of information about people that the applicant knows, their family members.
So many degrees of that person.
Yes. So now they're thinking that if it was China, and nobody's admitting that it was China, but just think about if another government that wants to be able to spy on or gather information had all this information about salaries and so on, they could say, you know, this person might be willing to take a bribe if we approach them.
That's the kind of things they could use this for.
That's the kind of things they could use it for.
Well, a lot of other information can be had, and protecting yourself, this is key, isn't it? This is how you get a hold of Rebecca.
Yes, you can go out to my website. This is my first one, and click on the question mark, and I'll be happy to answer your questions that you have. This is my new service for businesses who want to create a strong security and privacy program and also have good vendor management oversight, since that is a big issue. And then this is my consulting site. So if you want to have a call and just ask about how to better protect your business and so on, click on the question mark there, and I will be happy to answer you. And I'm on Twitter at PrivacyProf.
Nice.
And she answers questions there too. That's how I ask her questions there all the time.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Good to see you guys.
It is 7:31. We'll be right back. You're watching Great Day.